So you want to buy a house and rehab it like they do on the reality shows on TV. Okay, I'm all for that. A lot of people coming into the business want to do the exact same thing. But let's talk about a few things you ought to do before you close to avoid expensive seminars that most new investors take. How about that? 40 years at this now. I've renovated at least 1,000 houses, quit counting a long time ago. So let me give you some tips here. Now, first of all, what are the steps to rehabbing a house? Well, obviously, first you need to get trained, because if you don't get trained with someone who's capable and qualified to train you, you're going to get trained out in the marketplace. Very expensive training, cost many times what you'll pay anybody to train you in the business. Trust me, I'll tell you, get trained first. And I mean that applies to any business. I don't care what business it is. Get the training first. Second, in fact, the training will tell you what you can pay for a rehab. Because if you overpay, you already made a mess not knowing it until your time to sell and find out you didn't make any money. You thought sometimes you actually have to bring money to closing because you overpaid. So part of your training is to learn how to buy these properties that you're paying cash for. Best learn it before you go make a mess. Two, you got to find the deal. Now there's all kinds of ways to find the deals. I've got seminars on it. I've got videos on it on our Gold Club site. That's ronsgoldclub.com. For $59 a month, you get a mountain of benefits there, including all my agreements and forms and so forth, and tons of lessons. Leads in your inbox every day and so forth. So finding the deal. Okay, now let's say you've gotten there and you got a contract to buy the house. All right, there's a list of things you need to do before you close on that house. And I'm going to share that list with you right now, so you might want to get ready to do a screen capture. In fact, I've taken this right out of my Quick Start Real Estate Bootcamp Manual, where I spend 4 days training people on the business of buying and selling houses. Still teach it personally, by the way. Step 3 is to fund the deal, but these things I'm going to go over must take place before you even fund the deal, which will be with a private lender. That's a human being that is lending you money, not a loan shark, not somebody in the business of making loans, just somebody who wants to get a higher rate of return on their money than they're getting right now, their IRA or from where else. Okay, so now you got the money. More reason why you do not want to close until you do this due diligence, because you got somebody else's money at risk right now. And then you got to find and hire and manage a contractor. Okay, also another seminar, and probably your biggest learning lesson in this entire process, especially now when contractors are scarce, prices are going up, and things are hard to get. Just hiring a contractor and getting to the job is probably going to take longer and be more work than you anticipated, but it's required if you're going to rehab a house. Of course, now you get it all done, you're going to list and sell it. And if you're going to go rehab a house, there's no way I'm going to rehab a house if I can't net at least $50,000 on that rehab. Because you're looking at 6, 7, 8 months later before you get paid. And don't kid yourself into believing you're going to get paid any quicker. Maybe you will, but it's more likely you won't, because Murphy lives where you're at, and we got some uncertain times ahead. I don't make 50 grand, I'd rather do other things. And there's plenty I can do to make that 50 grand a lot easier than rehabbing a house. So, the point is, don't close the purchase without doing the proper due diligence. You're either going to do the due diligence or you're going to take your chances. And Murphy loves folks who just take their chances. Nick, can you give me the overhead, please? I can't get all of this on here at once, so let's start with what I can. Now, if you want to take a screenshot of this, go ahead. You're going to have to take 2. So go ahead and snap that one if you're going to. There's just a few things for you to go down here. If the house is in a war zone or a very low-end area, you need to know that, because if it's in a war zone and you're trying to rehab it and retail it, you're trying to get people to come buy it that probably can't qualify for a loan, because if they could, they're going to go outside the war zone and find one that they feel more safe in. So you need to know, if it's in a war zone, rehabbing is not your exit, probably wholesaling. First thing you do when the ink dries on any contract is order a title cert to make sure the title is clear so that you can sell it. Well, I'd hate to see you buy a property with a messed up title and go rehab it and find out you can't sell it. Big mistake. Number 3 is you should verify the after repaired value. Okay, you need to learn how to get true comps on the property. I'll teach you that if you give me a chance. There's lessons on that on the Gold Club site. Of course, I covered in my Quick Start Real Estate School. But you've got to learn how to get comps, and I mean real comps, not Desestimate. Desestimate on Zillow is not the ARV on your property. All right, and if you don't feel comfortable about your comps, you might want to get an after repaired appraisal. An appraiser will tell you what it's worth after you do the work, once you give them the list of work you're going to do. And then, of course, you better verify the repair cost. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. If it's not in a normal subdivision, you might want to check the zoning. And by the way, if you're buying what you think is a duplex or a fourplex, you better make sure it's zoned a duplex or a fourplex. Or you'll be like one that I did way back in the past. I did a great renovation job on a fourplex here in Jacksonville, Florida, only to find out that it was a one house because they downzoned it because it was on a narrow lot. I could not use it for a fourplex. In fact, they made me remove 3 of the kitchens. So make sure your zoning permitted. Now, if it's in a subdivision, I don't check the zoning. I know the zoning is the same as everything else in the subdivision. Wood destroying organism report. Wouldn't you like to know that your house is eaten up with bugs and your wood is rotten, a lot of wood's got to be replaced before you close on it? I think I'd want to know that. And then if there's any reason to, order a survey. Now, I don't order a survey if it's in a subdivision area and all the houses are pretty much alike and all the lots. But if I see anything that indicates to me that maybe the neighbor's property is on my property or vice versa, I want to know that before I close. I'd hate to close and then find out that half of my garage is on the neighbor's property. Could be a problem. If it's in a low-end area, like a war zone, you better make sure that the utilities aren't flagged by the city. All that is a phone call to the code compliance department to see if there's any flags. Because if there's a flag, nobody can move in until the property is repaired and inspected by the city. And if it's condemned, oh my goodness, if it's condemned, you darn sure better make that call because it might be on the bulldozer list and you don't even know it. So here you go ahead, close on the thing, pay cash for it, and 2 days later they bulldoze it and you got a vacant lot. By the way, how do you think I learned that? All right. And are there nuisance abatements liens? Same thing. If the city's coming out and boarded up the house or mowed the lawn or done anything to it, they're going to put a lien on the property. They're called nuisance and abatement liens. Okay, you need to know. By the way, you're going to say, well, the title company will check the title. Well, sure they will. But I've learned that a lot of times the city takes months to actually put the lien on record on the property. So if a title company issues you a policy and those liens aren't recorded, and then they're later recorded, not the title company's problem. They're only responsible for what's on the property the day you buy it. So I don't do that unless I have a reason to call the city, because it's in a low-end area and it looks like it's been nasty, ugly, vacant. I'm gonna make that call to the city or get somebody to do it for me. Does the house have mold or asbestos? Home inspection should be able to tell you that. We'll get into that here in a minute. And before you close, if you got insurance lined up, and is it in a flood zone? Okay. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you purchase a house and pay all cash for it, and you don't get insurance on it. It's going to burn that night. Murphy lives there. Murphy lives everywhere. Murphy's all around me. You make sure that policy is on that house before you close. Not, I'll take care of that tomorrow or the next day. No. And are all additions legal? Sometimes you'll find a house where they put an addition on it, and you can just look at it and tell it doesn't look like it is legitimate to me. And you can go on your county records and find out if that was permitted or not. And if it was permitted, was it finalized? Same with your roof, incidentally. If you want to know how old a roof is, go on your county website and see when the last permit was pulled and did that permit get cleared, and that'll tell you how old your roof is. So remember this, if you purchase the house and you don't do that homework, your problem, not seller's problem, your problem. And when you're paying all cash, especially if you're borrowing somebody else's money, and now you discover you got issues that you should have checked, hard lesson in the school of hard knocks. All right, so here's your checklist. I've got it, I'm ready to close on it. I've gone over the list above, don't see any issues. Next thing, contract is signed by all parties, and you order a title search and it come back clean. Okay, very next step I would do is order a home inspection. That home inspection is going to cost you $400, $500, $600. They'll have it to you in 2 or 3 days, and I'm telling you it's money well spent. when you get that home inspection, you'll find all kinds of things there's no way you can see by walking through the house. There's no way your contractor would find them, because this home inspector is going to go under your house, up in your attic, on top of your house, and go through it with a fine-tooth comb and take a picture of all of the problems. And you want to do that because you want to know what the problems are, so that when you meet your contractor, you can hand them a copy of the home inspection and tell them the things you want fixed inside the home inspection, so that now when your new buyer gets a home inspection, they won't have these issues that you have to overcome to close on the sale. And believe me, if they're going to go get a new loan, somebody's probably going to get a home inspection. All right, so you've ordered your home inspection. At the same time, you should be lining up your contractor and trying to make an appointment to meet them at the house. Now, when you meet them at the house, a copy of the home inspection comes with you, and you hand it to them, and you go over what's in it, because they cannot give you a list of, they cannot give you an estimate unless they see that, because if they do, it'd be bogus, because they missed a lot of things that are going to be in the home inspection. Then you walk through the house with your contractor, you make your own list, and you do it again, and you make another list that you both agree upon, and then you wait for them to give you an estimate. Of course, that estimate's going to determine whether you move forward or not, or whether you need to go get another contractor. Trust me, your contractor is going to be your biggest issue in rehabbing houses. If you want to learn how to handle them, how to hire them, how to handle them, how to screen them, come see me at my Quick Start in Real Estate School. We go through all of that stuff in that class where we teach the pretty house business and the ugly house business. So if you're, again, if you're still not concerned, if you're a little concerned about, is my value real? I want to get it appraised. Just hand the list of stuff the contractor is going to do to your appraiser and say, I want it appraised after this is done, and they'll give you a number. And then, of course, along the way, if it looks like it's going to be a go, you got to line up the money. Now, money's probably going to come from a private investor, a human being, not a loan shark. And there's so much private money out there, you won't even scratch the surface of it. You'll probably never leave your Rolodex to get all the private money you want, and you'll never run out of it. It's endless. And there's no credit check, there's no personal guarantee. Because when we borrow money from private lenders, we make the rules. We make them. We borrow money from loan sharks, they make the rules. There's a whole bunch of money out there, trillions, looking for a place to go. And what better place than a first mortgage on your property at a 65-70% loan to value ratio. Very easy to get the private money once you learn how to ask for it. By the way, yes, we teach that at the Quick Start School as well. So, and then of course, before you close, you better go over any of the other applicable items mentioned above. And one of those, by the way, make sure you check to see if this house is on a septic system or on city sewer. Big difference. If it's on a septic, you better make sure you get the septic tested and the drain field tested. Because if you close on it and then find out that it won't pass a perk test that they're going to come out and do to see if the drain field is draining properly, you might wind up having to replace the whole thing. And I can tell you from experience, you're looking at $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 right there you did not intend to spend. Best you know all of these things before you close. And I will honestly tell you that sometimes this due diligence will kill your whole deal, because you find out things you thought you knew, and now you know them, and now you either got to go back and get the price lowered, or you got to bail out, one of the two. If you bail out, it's a smart move, because it's a whole lot cheaper to going forward and literally not only not making money, but having to spend more money on this thing than your profit will allow. But here's the big key to rehabbing houses. Big key is you got to buy them right to begin with. If you don't buy them right, nothing you do will work. If you pay too much, you can do everything right, still not make any money. If you learn to buy them right, you can screw up everything and still make money. And you will make mistakes along the way, but if you buy them right, those mistakes will be compensated based on your offer. I'll teach you how to estimate the repairs. I'll teach you what to pay. I'll teach you where to get the money. But I'll pound into you that you got to buy them right if you're paying cash for them. And that in this marketplace we're in today, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you to pay way more than you should for the houses. Now look, there is an alternative to rehabbing houses. I'm it. My specialty is terms. I don't rehab anything. We buy the houses with owner financing, or subject to, or lease option from the seller. We don't have any credit check. We don't have any contractors. We don't have any delays. Immediately put tenant buyers in the houses, get thousands of dollars up front, non-refundable deposits, gets monthly cash flow, depreciation, appreciation, debt paid down, forfeited deposits, and all the goodies that come along with the house. So you can rehab a house, get a check, pay maximum taxes, or you can keep the house, let it produce income now, income monthly, income later, and build wealth and pay no taxes when I teach you how, which I've done a lesson on that here. You might want to research and find it. So if you're interested in learning the other side of the business and or rehabs, there's a link below. Go to it and let's spend 90 minutes together and I'll teach you the terms business. And then if you like what you see and you think I'm your guy, then we can spend 4 days together and I'll teach you the whole business called Quick Turn Real Estate School. So let's start with the terms and we'll go from there. So go down and hit that link below and let's see what the other side of the world that does not include rehabs will bring you. I think you'll like what you see. And I bet you it'll change your attitude about real estate. Look, I'm a transaction engineer. I want you to do it all. But to be honest, I'd rather rehabs be a bonus, not a business. Very tough time to be in the rehab business, especially if that's all you're going to do. I want to see you build residual income that comes in for years after you do the job once. Not going to do that on rehabbing a house. Hit the link right now. I'll see you on the online lesson.